I lost thousands. I'll put it plainly and simply. I lost thousands. And when you're 18, it does something to you. It cut through me deeply. My name is Shani and I was involved in a pyramid scheme. Growing up, I grew up in West London and I'm very family orientated. I love my mother to bits. That woman has done everything for me. She's always done right by me. Like, my mum gave birth to me at 18. What I realized growing up as well is that I'm growing up with my mother. Due to mental health reasons, she couldn't take care of me as best as she could. And I live with my grandmother, but there was never a day when my mum never contacted me. I couldn't tell her, oh, Mum, I love you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for cooking my food. Thanks for, raising me. She had to raise me on the bloody phone. My grandmother, she was from a different generation. She kind of never really understood me. Like, that wasn't to say she didn't love me. She just never understood what it's like to be in my generation, whereas my mother did. I had big aspirations to make my mother proud. 18, I was, preparing for university. I was working like night shifts, day shifts. I was grinding so hard to make sure I can support this pyramid scheme. So at the time, it was called IML Academy, also known as iMarkets Live. I was always confused about what an MLM scheme was. I just really was focused on how the hell do I make money. There is a tier list in terms of how powerful you are within this company. You start at P150. Well, you start at 0 firstly, then you go to P150. What that means is that you have 3 people underneath you. Then you go to P500, which means that you have 9 people underneath you, and that means that 2 people underneath you referred 3 people for themselves. But each number does mean that that's how much you earn. So P150, you earn 150 a month. That was how much the subscription was, and that means it covers your subscription. Then P500 means you earn 500 a month. Then you have P1000, and that's when you have about 20 odd people underneath you. But it means that the 3 people underneath you would have to have 3 under themselves. So you have to always make sure that you, as a supervisor, are monitoring the people that you're referring to and making sure that they're on it, referring other people. And then you get to like P2000, and then you get to chairman. And when you get to chairman, that's when you're earning £10,000 a month, and you have to have at least 150 people or something like that. Everyone tells you to invest, but no one told me to invest in what. And because I never had that guidance, and my mother wasn't really much help either in terms of investing, I just thought this was the best way to do it. Like, my best friend came to me, she was like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm making so much money doing this. And she was like, yeah, why don't you get involved? And I said, cool, where do you want to meet? And that's how, unfortunately, I got involved. And she wanted to kind of keep this professional. So she said, hey, we're going to meet at, such and such cafe on, Harrow Road. And she was just as much as a victim as I was. I trusted her. And to be honest, I was really strict with my money. And I thought, I don't want to lose this money, so how can I grow it? Their scheme was in terms of forex trading, but they kind of made it very suggestive, like you couldn't really get out. That, you had to make this account, you have to do this and blah, blah, blah. It's free to join, like that's a good tactic these days. So, you made this account on IML Academy, which is a website in which, has a bunch of like apps and stuff you can use to help you learn how to trade forex. And that's all they ever cared about in terms of like training you was, foreign exchange, so that when you're able to pitch this to other people, you know what the hell you're talking about, right? I ended up recruiting this girl, and I remember I saw her, and like we kind of got on, and she was like, oh yeah, like what do you do, blah, blah, blah. I said, I trade forex, I'm making so much money, man. I showed her my bank account, like pretending as if I sent myself like 2 grand, and I was like, yeah, this is what I made yesterday, you know, it just came out of my savings, you know, trying to act cool, right? I'm trying to big it up. She's like, oh wow, like that's really cool, like how did you get into it? And I was like, oh yeah, my friend like just got me into it, you know, it's like really easy, trying to play it off as if, you know, it's something that you can do at home and stuff like that. And then yeah, she got recruited under my name. It felt great. It felt, if I can do this to one people, I can do it to more. I haven't had the heart to apologize to her. Being the victim of that from my best friend at the time, I felt, it feels pretty shitty. It feels pretty horrible. They try to manipulate you, and you may think that, you know, like at 18 you're an adult. I didn't know. I never saw the signs, and I never really told my mum, because I thought I was doing right by her again. We tried to meet at cafes and public places. We went to Cafe Nero in Shepherd's Bush. I remember there was another guy, I think his name was Faisal, and he said, get out your phone right now. I was like, what for? He was like, I want you to go through your contacts and call up 50 people right now. Called them, told them about the scheme, and the purpose of it was, you know, to see if we can recruit more people to join. That's when I knew. It was never really about forex trading. This was a pyramid scheme. Getting out of the pyramid scheme was a bit of an easy process, and personally it was only easy for me because my best friend got out, her supervisor got out, and for them it was really difficult because they were messaging them, bombarding them with messages, and I just ended up leaving the group chat, blocking about like 30 to 50 people on Insta. And that first night of going to sleep, I had so much anxiety, and this decision for me to join was the worst decision for my financial life, but it was the best decision for my mental health, because now I have a peace of mind that I could just never fall for it again. Savings, that's what I used, and I didn't have much in that, and I thank God for that, because if I had a lot more, I would have ruined everything. My mum's always told me, and I will quote her on this, that you're gonna have to take some L's to get a W, and this was one of my L's.